Warning, we're going to be discussing events for currently running weekly anime.
If you want to avoid spoilers for certain shows, there are timestamps in the description.
Hey, do you know what time it is?
No. What time is it, Rex?
It's the time. It's Timesink. It's time. I was trying to come up with a better joke. I had it like in my head. I was like, all right, we're gonna start off, and we're gonna start off strong. I'm gonna have a really clever joke. Everyone's gonna think I'm funny.
Well, here's what I have to say to that.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Welcome back to the Timesink Anime Podcast. I am the always hilarious Rex.
Yes, and I'm the always disdainful JT. How's it going, everybody?
We're talking about week 6 of summer 2019. And there's been some I feel like there's been some work we've had to do. Mm-hmm. Like at least personally, because we're moving soon.
Yeah.
To undisclosed bunker underground.
Yep. On our submarine beneath 2,000 leagues beneath the sea.
We're moving soon, so there's like a bunch of shit we've been having to take care of in the background, like figuring out what stuff I want to keep, because I feel like I have too many things.
Yeah,
and not enough space for like I want like a bookshelf just fucking stacked with like manga and anime. Like that's one of my goals I have when I get to the next place I move into. And I also want one of those like figurine...
Yeah, the clear ones towers you're talking about?
Yeah, where they have like shelves and you just put little fucking big titty anime girls in there. I mean, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Or small titty anime girls, I don't discriminate.
Or Nendroids.
Yeah, or Nendroids.
Just Nendroids.
Yes,
Nendroids
let's go with Nendroids.
Oh my god.
If you have a Nendroid, right?
I have one Nendroid.
Yeah,
which is not enough Nendroids.
Yeah, I don't have a single Nendroid yet, so I need to get to work on that.
I only have a singular Nendroid of my waifu, because that was a necessity.
Yeah, I think my first Nendroid is actually going to be of my waifu as well.
Hey, if you want to see our waifus, you can go onto our KITSU account in the description below, and it's listed there.
Yay! Awkward shilling, go!
Didn't you say you wanted to get like a Shinobu one, but they're stupid expensive?
Oh god. Yeah, one of my favorite characters in anything ever is Shinobu Oshino from the Monogatari series, and yeah, some of hers are like upwards of $100 or more.
Yeah, she's an incredibly popular character. I think she's one of the most expensive ones.
Yeah, she's a incredibly popular character, and also just a really, I don't know how exactly to say it. She's my personal favorite, and but also I don't know if they're like hers are still being made, considering Monogatari is pretty much over.
I think they have limited runs for Nendroids.
Yeah, I don't know how the Nendroid market works. I really don't. I don't pay attention to that stuff. I'm not like on the internet going, oh god, yes, I need to see the newest Nendroid market.
So how about I tell you some news?
Is it good news or bad news?
It's very good news.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, so first of all, we got an announcement for Agretzko Season 3.
That was fast.
Yeah, like apparently I haven't seen Season 2 yet. I still plan to binge it. I think it'll take me like an hour or like 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, it's like they're like 15-minute episodes.
And how many are there? 12?
Like 10, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, it won't take you long at all.
Really easy to watch. But apparently it's done incredibly well. Well enough to like barely any time after the season came out. Like a few months, there's like, hey, Season 3. Surprise.
I guess that isn't really surprising. I mean, Agretzko is an incredibly popular show and an incredibly relatable show. And the second season, as someone who has watched it, no spoilers, it continues on that track of just being an incredibly relatable, sometimes disappointing show. Just like real life, it's full of disappointment.
Yeah, it's a really interesting analogy or not analogy, just a point that show uses. BoJack Horseman also does it, where they use characters that are like obviously cartoony animals.
Yeah.
But they put them in such relatable situations where it doesn't like these these characters could easily have been human
Mhm.
and still have been an entertaining show, but by making them like cartoony, you can give them more vibrant like expressions.
Yeah, anthropomorphic animals. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And also, just like considering Sanrio is the one behind it.
Oh yeah,
Like that kind of. They're no stranger when it comes to cutesy ass mascots, and it's kind of that's been primarily aimed towards children. There's a really good video for Mother's Basement actually that talks about why Agretzko is such a relatable show, because it is like they take those kind of cutesy, adorable, sort of like kiddish designs and put them in some really adult situations, like as far as like relatable, but still keeps them like somewhat grounded in that sort of easily digestible way. So kind of like how you would approach like a children's show, really.
but I mean, Agretzko is cool and all,
Mhm.
but more importantly, you know what else is getting a second season? It's going to be on Crunchyroll.
What?
Take a guess.
Isekai Quartet.
No,
I mean, although that has been confirmed for a second
two
season.
more guesses.
2 more guesses.
You're not going to get it.
No, I'm probably not.
Go ahead, go for it.
Shoot, what's a really popular show out right now?
Just throw something out. Use your gut instinct.
Don Machi.
That's already got a second.
Yeah,
that's
that already does have a
season.
second season. It's currently
Dummy
running.
dum.
Not Hiroaka. I don't know. What is
Is
it?
it fucking Banania?
Oh,
Obviously.
Banana.
Yeah, the hit show Banania that I saw an episode of. One time.
I saw an episode of that too, just kind of because I was bored. I think we were watching it at the same time, and it was cute.
Yeah, it's just a little I think it's like 3-minute show or something like that. It's a cat that's also a banana, and I don't know a lot about it, but I saw it. I saw it on the anime news. I was just like, oh, we have to talk about Banania. We have to bring Banania to the public.
Yes, Banania. Never forget.
I just love the name.
It is. It's a cute little charming name.
On a more serious note, Weathering with You was released approximately 17 days ago in Japan, and it has already earned 5,908,466,600 yen, which for us burger masters is $55.7 million in the first 7 days.
Wow, that's pretty good for an animated
for an anime movie for sure. Yeah, it currently is the 35th highest grossing anime film of all time.
Ah, I see. So it's got a ways to go yet. Do you think it'll reach past Your Name?
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I don't know either, because Your Name had such like a mass appeal that it's very difficult to say like whether or not this. I mean, Makoto Shinkai is Makoto Shinkai. He's kind of a household name at this point, especially with Your Name being as big as it was. Like, I've watched a few of Makoto Shinkai's films. I think that Your Name was a great movie. It's not my personal favorite anime movie of all time, and I don't think it deserves to be rated perfect 10s myself, but it was an enjoyable flick, and I like Makoto Shinkai's work. He does a really good job of making things look photorealistic. And I hope that Weathering with You continues to do a good job.
I really like his themes of like family stuff. Super touching.
Are you sure that? Wait, I thought you said that was Mamoru Hosoda who.
Oh wait, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, Makoto Shinkai did Your Name, 5 centimeters a second.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. His are more about like forlorn loves and stuff like that, typically speaking. So we're gonna be getting this movie next year at some point. Yeah, and the figures I brought up about it being 35th highest grossing anime film of all time, that's in the first 17 days. Wait, you said first week, so 17 days, that's a little over.
Did I say week?
Yeah.
Wow, it's just not my day today.
No, it's clearly not.
It's like earlier we were walking out of 7-Eleven.
Oh god.
And I was
like, I forgot my bag of stuff.
Yeah, so I was holding some food in one hand, and then also my bag of food in the same hand. And I walked out, and I walked back in. And I was like, "Oh crap! I forgot my bag of food." And I looked down, and I'm holding my bag of food, and
I'm looking at you, just like, wait, you mean the one that you've got in your hand? And then, like, all of a sudden, it's like all the eyes, like, just kind of turn towards you.
I'm
slowly.
not tired or anything. I'm just dumb. I'm just dumb.
Yes, I know. I live with you. You are very dumb.
I'm glad you have my back. You were supposed. That's the point where you're supposed to say, "No, you're great." You know. But
Hey! Now, a good friend will tell you, will just bullshit you and hold your hand. A really good friend will kick you while you're down
that's
and
true,
laugh.
I guess. Yeah. That's all the announcements I got to talk about.
Yeah.
You got anything else to bring up?
No, not particularly. Just looking forward to Weathering with You coming out eventually. Really looking forward to Banana.
So, all right, well, let's get into the shows that we're talking about this week. Starting off with Demon Slayer, and I think I speak for both of us when I say it is the highlight of the week.
Yeah, it was no contest. Holy fucking shit.
There were. Okay, first I want to get off bad stuff out of the way before I start gushing.
Okay,
because I want to be fair and partial as much as I can. I think that Nezuko was. I don't like how they keep Nezuko in the box and they just whip her out for really dramatic situations. It feels scripted.
Yeah. It's like, I wonder when Nezuko's gonna pop out of the box. It's like you see somebody like off screen just going ba-dum ba-dum ba-da-da-da-dum da-dum da-dum. And then it's like bang, she pop goes the Nezuko.
Let's see what you got. Any complaints?
That is probably the big one, but at the same time, I think that was handled a little bit better here because the payoff was certainly worth it. So, not really. It seems like they this episode for a while just kind of jumped back and forth between a few different perspectives, like way too quickly. Like first with Inosuke, and then with Zenitsu, and then finally with Tanjiro. It just felt like the other two would just kind of, I guess you could say it was a little jarring going from those perspectives.
Okay. Yeah. Like I don't have much to complain about, but it's like it was so good.
Those are minor nitpicks.
Yeah, no, like when something's so good and I'm like gasming all over it, I'm like, okay, you're a critic, kind of.
Yeah.
Not a professional critic, but like take a step back
and try and find at least a couple things.
And now that I said that, got that out of the way. It was so good.
It was so good. I mean, Jesus Christ. I can say this pretty much ad nauseum at this point. UFO Table makes everything they touch freaking gorgeous. And this is clearly a labor of love. Like, because they're just the amount of like detail that they put into the Kagura dance, the Hinokami Kagura dance, I think is what they called it.
Yeah, just as soon as he was charging forward and he started that dance.
Yeah,
that was, God, I don't know. I have no words to describe how it blew me away.
It just like,
I will say I was leaning forward.
Yeah,
kind of just chilling out, and then that started, and then I just kind of like sat up straight.
It's like, okay, now I have to pay attention to this. Yeah. Like, I'm obligated to, like, open your eyes super wide just so you can get every pixel.
The UFO Table, like, sweeping camera here was gorgeous. The choreography of every jump. Because Spider Boy, once he realized that Tanjiro
could slice through his full strength threads,
he started backing up, and then the chase scene of him like jumping away and Tanjiro just jumping back and forth, keeping up with him, cutting off all of his threads, leading up to that culminating moment of they're like, okay, I'm going to take him out, even if it means getting cut to ribbons in the process.
And then Nezuko, like. We'd complained a little bit about this, like Nezuko kind of feels like she's basically a jack in the box that occasionally they just kind of forget about. It's like, oh wait, she exists, let's pop her out now. This was definitely worth it because like it's interesting thinking that she actually has a will of her own at this point. Like she isn't just kind of like a mindless little doll or puppy dog that's just kind of following around at this point.
She never really has been.
I mean, no.
It's just the only thing close to that is the suggestion.
Yeah.
That Urokodaki, surprise, I remember that name.
Yeah, Urokodaki.
Gave her of just like humans are friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Not food.
Nice Finding Nemo reference. Anyway, the But the exploding blood demon
it was
art.
so cool seeing her use a demon art.
Like, I wasn't expecting that, but then when she said that, blood demon art, exploding blood, and then just the way that Tanjiro's fire and then her fire from the exploding blood just kind of meshed together and burned away the threads. It was so perfect. And then on top of that, Yuki Kajira doing as Yuki Kajira do with the music in that sequence, the way it flared up as soon as he said Hinokami Kagura dance breathing, and like the music just swelled up right then and there. It was so
made it feel so I hesitate to use this word because it's so overused and everyone kind of just throws it out all the time. Epic.
It truly was epic. Let's not mince words here. It was epic. It was truly a fantastic spectacle here. Just every ounce of energy you could just feel in these 3 minutes of animation.
I think it would have been the only way I can think of improving it would have been to have Tanjiro and Nezuko experiencing the flashbacks at the same time, maybe from different perspectives, and then they both snap into action at the same time, maybe in like a cross frame thing, where Nezuko opens her eyes and Tanjiro starts doing the dance.
That could have been pretty cool.
But I think they still did it really well too, because at the point where Tanjiro was trying to sacrifice himself, then Nezuko woke up.
Yeah, basically it was Nezuko's mother trying to say, wake up or else Tanjiro's gonna die too. That was... I personally didn't have a problem with that.
I didn't at all either,
Yeah.
I really like that they're continuing to make Tanjiro and Nezuko partners. Yeah. And not just... Because in this episode, I was getting a little annoyed whenever Tanjiro said, I have to rescue Nezuko, I have to save her, It's like, all right, I really like Nezuko's character, and it's really cool when she fights. It would have been a little obnoxious if she were to just have sat there and just played dead the whole time. Yeah, it seems like she had just kind of passed out or had kind of gone into a trance or something. I think she went to sleep on, I guess, reflexively, because we know before that her demon power is kind of just periodically jumping up. Yeah. Like the fight with the kickball. Oh, yeah, demon, the Tamari demon. Yeah, where it blew her leg off first. But when she started actually she woke back up later on. So it's every time she sleeps, I think she gets a little stronger. I think so, because that's actually a good way of putting it, because I didn't even register that, because now when she kind of snapped awake, she all of a sudden has the ability to use a demon blood art, which I hope they contribute more of that. And I wonder if it'll ever be possible, because this was one of the 12 Kizuki, by the way. Yeah, you called it 3 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, I think. I remember you're saying no, the dad's just a pawn. The kids, the little brother is the mastermind. And I'm like, nah, you're stupid. I fucking called it. You were definitely right. I love being right about stuff like this. Okay. You're awarded X amount of internet points. Don't spend them all in one place. Where would I spend them? I don't know. You're an asshole. I don't give a fuck. Clever. What is this, a freaking middle school playground? Anywho, that entire sequence was really great. It was painful in some places though to see Nezuko all strung up in the trees, and then the threads wires cutting through her skin. Ugh. And then Tanjiro just getting his ass kicked. And then there was just something so visceral with how effortless, I guess, the Rui, I believe his name was just backhanding him and swatting him and kicking him. There was no effort or energy put into it. It was he was basically doing the bare minimum movements possible in order to just kick him halfway across the woods. Yeah. Speaking of which, I really liked his character. Yeah. I feel like he's had the most interesting death scene, I think, of any demon so far, because I really hope they don't do this next episode, but they didn't flashback or anything. They just showed throughout the fight his obsession with having an actual bond with somebody. And I think that's enough, giving us enough context clues throughout the fight, making him just go pretty much an opposite of Tanjiro, Tanjiro's idea is just, you have to be family. You should love each other because you're family. And the spider guy is saying, well, no, I'll just make people love me.
Yeah, it is an interesting parallel and opposite, and I think it's super fitting that that Tanjiro was able to kill this guy finally. Like, after seeing his sword get snapped, of all things, I was like, once again, are they going to address that? Like, are they going to end up fixing his sword? Is his sword going to change color from this point forward, maybe? Because
I feel like he's going to get an upgrade sword because it's a shonen series.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this episode was at its base roots, was the power upgrade episode. Like, this is where he gets this new special move.
Yeah, this was, that was like and that was one of the lower 5 of the 12 Kizuki, so maybe he'll get a blood sample off of him. And then,
I'm sure he will.
And then
that's part of the whole thing.
Yeah, and I wonder if Nezuko's going to be able to, like, start being able to, like, walk in the daylight if she gets enough blood or something.
Well, Nezuko becoming human again actually brings up an interesting thing, because I can't imagine if Nezuko's human, Tanjiro is just going to stop being a demon slayer. He's going to want to go around and help people still. His family's dead, so he doesn't have anyone to go back to. Like, there's going to be a point where Tanjiro is still in danger and Nezuko has the option of becoming human again. I think my assumption is that there's going to be a point where Nezuko decides that she's going to stay a demon, specifically so that she can save Tanjiro's life.
That would make sense. Like, I wouldn't be against that idea either. Like, it's interesting actually hearing Nezuko speak every once in a while, even if she didn't say anything out loud. Like, actually hearing the voice actor, voice act.
Like, it'd be hilarious if she's up in the spider webs and she wakes up and she's just like, what? Yeah, amazing, fantastic, gorgeous episode.
Yeah.
Loved it. Highlight of the week.
So next up on our list, Dr. Stone.
Dr. Name Drop.
Yeah, Dr. Name, they did the thing. So this was honestly one of the most heartfelt episodes, I personally think. This first half of it anyway, I think was one of the more heartfelt entries in this series, because just that entire sequence of Senku finding Taiju in the ground, like that moment when he sees him for the first time and he's like trying not to cry, you can tell that he's really trying not to. He's just trying to be stoic. And then and we were worried that they were just going to cut back to, oh, by the way, Senku's awake. But no, the way they integrated this was really well handled, I personally think, when it showed the flashback of Senku working and basically saying to Taiju, I want you to wake up. I am absolutely helpless without you. But then and there was a thunderstorm, but then it cuts back to the present and there's the same kind of event going on. And Taiju is saying the exact same things.
Yeah, the way they crossed from the flashback back into reality was directed so well.
Yeah, it was so good. And it was probably one of my personal favorite parts of this episode. Just that whole sequence.
Yeah, because I expected it just, to be the beginning of the episode. He wakes up. But this gave it so much more emotional
payoff
weight to it. And,
exactly.
Because I kind of expected
Taiju, Senku?
Senku, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I expected Senku just to wake up and to be kind of a funny thing.
Yeah, which they played it off as a joke at first.
But to me, I definitely felt their joy a lot more because of that
exactly.
flashback. And I think this was a really good time to tell that story. The end of last episode and the beginning of this episode of Senku's arrival. Because it would not have made a very good first episode. No, it wouldn't have. Because that's I don't care about him at all. I don't care about him going through all these things. But now that we got to know Senku a little bit more, that this whole flashback kind of made a bit more sense to be put where it is. Yeah, and this show continues to have some of the freaking most hilarious reaction shots ever. Taiju fucking. Yeah. Shaking. Yeah. Or just Senku's random faces and how they just twist up and stuff and how exaggerated they are. Some of them are these are almost on point with a lot of comedy series that you'd see with just how exaggerated and hilarious some of these expressions are. I really like the show for that. And then we're finally getting more into the it's weird to say socio-political stuff in terms of a shonen series, because at its core, that's what this is. Yeah. It's a shonen series. It's about as shonen as you can get, except more of it's a battle of wills as opposed to it's a science shonen. Yeah, exactly.
And just like him figuring out, like basically saying, okay, what I need you to do is I need you to go spy on Tsukasa's kingdom, because I have a feeling I know what he's planning on doing. I'm going to meanwhile pretend to still be dead, and I'm going to basically make my own kingdom of science.
Yeah, I'm wondering. So what I've heard from the manga is how they, like, you know, originally Taiju was supposed to be the main character, and they switched it over to Senku. I don't know how long they're actually going to send, like, Taiju and Yuzuriha off. Like, I'm assuming it's going to be like a back and forth sometimes, probably.
Yeah.
Probably with most of the focus on Senku's group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that whole flag raising scene was really emotional too.
Yeah, it was
really happy.
It was like a triumphant little thing. And then once again we get to figure out how freaking overpowered Tsukasa is as a human being. Like, how is a middle schooler capable of half the shit he's pulling off? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's like you said, it's a shonen series.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and
there's so many like school battle shows where people are fucking overpowered and can kick down trees.
Okay, fine. Like, it's still just kind of, I know.
I agree.
It's just like, okay, I'm going to cut down this tree with a stone spear.
Yeah, so, you know, the tree fell down and landed on her?
Yeah.
There was like an indent in the ground, and she was on rock.
Yeah.
Is her body stronger than the rock?
I don't know.
Or did she just happen to get lucky and fall in a crack, or Tsukasa planned it or something?
I don't know. Needless to say, I love the character design for this new girl, by the way. She's very, like, pixie-like.
The eyes on the girls by this art director,
they're really big.
Like, female faces in general, yeah, it's kind of weird to me. Like, it's not bad, but it's gonna take some getting used to for sure.
Like, I was mainly talking more about her outfit, like the way that she walked, stuff like that. It reminded me kind of like a forest pixie or a nymph or something like that. But when's the last time you saw a forest pixie or nymph pull out 2 stone daggers and try to kill somebody?
I actually think she just looked like a ninja. Like, kind of like a stereotypical ninja outfit. Really quick, I want to talk about another interesting story point that was brought in this episode. The fact that there are children of people that broke out of the stone already in this world.
Yeah.
Teenage children. So this happened like... So if they gave birth to the child, like, let's say, assuming 16 years ago. I'm going to assume she's 16. Because it's easier to avoid legal issues that way.
Yeah.
That would mean that the parents would have had to get together, made babies, which probably would have taken a little while, like 1 to 2 years, I assume. So they people have been, you know, wandering around in this area for, I'm assuming, around like 15 to 20 years. Already.
I think even longer than that, because if they lived in it, like the way that Tsukasa described it, they seem like a very primitive people that don't have like any like knowledge of what science is, and even the girl referred to him as the sorcerer man. So it just seems like even longer time has passed ever since people first woke up. Like, it seems like the ideas of science and stuff just sort of faded into obscurity almost. So now it does seem kind of like magic.
Yeah, kind of like religious mysticism.
Yeah, exactly. So it just makes me wonder, like, how much time has really passed for some of these people? Like, I imagine, like, we know that it's been about 3,700 years roughly, but it makes me wonder, when did the first people break out? And, like, what was the impetus for that? And Senku discovered it was because he was thinking on something. Combine the magical revival fluid with enough energy, like, because of how much energy the brain actually burns, and it creates electricity, and eventually causes enough of a surge to make the stone break. It's very convoluted stuff. I mean, it's fascinating, but still convoluted.
Yeah, it's
fantasy.
Sci-fi, kind of.
Or
not sci-fi, it's like science fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. Which you could say is a low science fantasy, or because low science fantasy and low science fiction and high science fiction. Like, I don't remember. I could be getting the terms wrong, but basically one of them is more akin to fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, Star Wars is more akin to, like...
fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked the climax in this episode was the pulley moment.
Yeah.
Where he saved the girl from the tree. It was really cool. I like Senku's moments of like scientific triumph, where he's going through the process of building something, and explaining it, and then there's kind of like a "I fucking did it" moment. It's really cool.
And even the way the girl described it, what she likes so much about him is just how he diligently goes through each step, because it is a process, very much so. It's a process, and you have to do everything in that process. If you neglect a step, something very wrong could happen.
Yeah, props to the art director, or just the director in general, like putting in all the steps he did to actually show him making that pulley system.
And you even sort of like, is he making a pulley?
Yeah.
And then it's like, yep, it's a pulley.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty good episode.
Absolutely.
So next up is Fire Force.
So the 8th Division is basically the military police, is what it seems like. Am I the only one who got that impression?
The 8th is...
The 8th is what Captain Obi and Shinra, and like basically the main division, the one we're following. They're more akin to the military police, is what it seems like.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Well, because the lieutenant, which we'll get to him later because I think he's cemented himself as my favorite character. The lieutenant basically pointed out that the 8th has a secondary secret objective of basically keeping an eye on the other divisions and going after them if they do something wrong. Like the 5th Division with its shady science experiments and stuff like that. So it seems like they are kind of like the military police.
Yeah, but it's not their duty.
Yeah.
Per se. It's just the captain's ideals. I don't think they're being told to do this specifically. I think every group is told that their job is to, put Infernals to rest and try to figure out the mysteries. That's like, okay, here's your mission, do that thing. And then I think everyone else kind of, they each individually come up with their own goals and ideals.
And as they established before, depending on who's the major people funding the each division is basically the one, like, basically calling the charge or calling the shots a little bit more, like...
Well, they're all being funded by the same group.
No, they're being funded by 3 different groups, and they're being funded... Yeah, they're being funded by 3 different groups, and some of them have more clout in other divisions than others. Like, one of them is the Church of Soul, the other is the other is, like, this big, like, business conglomerate, and I forget what the third one, like, funding them is, but basically... The way, like, whoever is funding them, that specific division the most is the one that is essentially calling the shots for that division. So, anyway, we get to find out a little bit about Princess Ibana this episode.
That she sucks?
Yeah, she's terrible.
Oh, man. Art director, guy who, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but the guy who makes Soul Eater does such a good job making creepy faces.
Somebody on KITSU basically said that it's like, oh man, this show is so delightfully edgy, and I'm like, well, this was made by the creator of Soul Eater, so it just kind of has that appeal.
The princess,
when she was like stabbing the Infernal repeatedly and like
so,
stepping on his neck,
like wonderfully sadistic. I love her character.
I
hate her as a person, but I love her character.
Oh yeah, she's absolutely entertaining.
A reprehensible human being.
Like I adored watching her. She's a lot of fun, but she's the absolute worst. Like, and it just kind of makes me wonder, like, a little bit, because it was shown here that she was a sister before, so she clearly had like some kind of faith in God or something like that. But something caused her to, I think, lose that faith. Or
probably losing somebody. I'm almost suspecting she's the one who started the fire at this point.
Yeah. You mean the one at the church?
Yeah, the original one, the one that burned down the church.
Yeah,
and all
which
the other
that
sisters.
was a really interesting way they kind of did that. Like, it was counting down with the photograph, which I was thinking, oh wait, this is a lot more sinister. And then it's like, sure enough, the camera exploded.
I think I saw a point where the princess was like smiling before that happened, so I'm very suspicious. It's either that or that was the event that caused her to snap.
Maybe. Like, I'm curious about that. Like, and she basically pointed out, like, there's no such thing as God in this world, only demons like me, pretty much. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a character from Sarazanmai. Only the bad people are the ones that survive in this world. Yeah. which it seems like she's kind of adopted that sort of social Darwinistic, the survival of the fittest kind of deal.
There's a kind of interesting bit of her character when she burns up the sister's robes.
Yeah.
And then she like throws her coat.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's still some kind of deep affection there.
Yeah, some kind of familial attachment, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you could also just write it off, obviously, as you know, like having sex with a hooker and you throw her a towel and like, clean yourself up, like that kind of thing. Not sexually here, but like that kind of.
I get you.
Dismissive attitude, but I feel like she still kind of cares for the sister deep down.
Yeah, I think so. Like I forget her name, by the way. The other sister.
I just keep calling her sister.
Yeah.
For now.
I think that's just what they call her more often.
Yeah,
anyway.
that's definitely what
Shinra
calls her. Yeah.
Yeah, Shinra calls her sister. So we got to see like a couple like instances of power here. First off, let's get the kind of goofy one out of the way. Damn it, Arthur!
Oh my god, that whole sequence. So it was funny, kind of.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot more funny if it wasn't 6 minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
Because he was just sitting there getting his ass beat, and he's like, "Huh? Oh yeah, I'm right-handed. Okay, and then I'm gonna beat the bad guy in one hit." It's like, all right, that's a gag.
That kind of overstayed its welcome, you think?
Those are the kind of gags that should be like a minute long at max.
Yeah.
Also, they treated it way too seriously in the beginning of him getting beat up.
Yeah, which I guess you could argue that the whole kind of anticlimactic thing about it is what makes it funny. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Princess Bride. I told you this a little bit after we watched the episode, like I'm not really left-handed. He switches hands. Well, the joke's on you. I'm not left-handed either. Or it kind of reminds me of even better example of Inferno Cop. I'm immune to your bullets. Well, so am I. No! Boo!
Yeah, but the thing is, those jokes were over very quickly.
Yeah, this was
a very much long version of that.
Yeah, I agree.
But I want to talk about Hinawa, the lieutenant. So I thought when he shot Shinra in the beginning of the episode, shot him in the leg. He's like, "Oh wow, that was a really clever way to, I think, reveal his powers."
Yeah.
How he can just control. He focuses his control on like the explosion and bullets and had him and I thought that was the extent of it until he just fucking fires randomly over into where the guy was hiding.
The guy with the explosive bubbles. Yeah.
And then it reveals not only does he control the velocity of the bullets, but being that he's a second generation pyrokinetic, he can only control flames that are created.
Yeah.
So he uses the sparks off of bullets hitting something to make another fire
and just go
and launch the bullets a different way. And it is not entirely realistic or makes sense, but it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a less cheaty version of Accelerator, I think, and his vector control.
I feel like it makes just enough sense.
Yeah, exactly.
To be really cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, obviously, this is fantasy, so suspend a little disbelief, but that was just absolutely freaking cool, and he's probably my favorite character at this point.
I like how everyone, except the captain, is fucking terrified of him.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, he's able to... I liked how it's like, wait, was that a real gun? Yeah, that was 100% a real gun. I just was able to... He basically goes into that little spiel saying, like, yeah, I can create non-lethal force with the bullets.
Oh, the whole sequence of him just tearing through the crowd of people, just fucking blasting them up with machine guns.
Yeah, and then stepping on a guy's like chest and then just putting
the execution shot, but it just knocks him out. That was probably my favorite sequence. Of the episode.
God, it was so good. I absolutely adored this series. This episode is. I'm just curious. Like, it seems like we're kind of through like Joker and that hidden organization off to the wayside for now. I hope we revisit that eventually.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. This is the shonen trope of, this is the first team battle when they all raid a base and they all have to fight their own individual fights.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course Shinra is fighting the main boss.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure he'll win.
Yeah, because I've got the power of anime on my side, bitch. So next up on our list, Fruits Basket. This was one of the series' weaker episodes, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a bit of an emotional dud. Comedy was good.
The comedy was good. and Toru's speech at the end was really, really good. I loved it, actually. I mean, Toru just has a really good way of, a good way with words, I think, and has a lot of relatable emotions. And the way, certainly the direction of the scene kind of played into it. Like, when she was talking about having, like, people maybe losing a way to live, or a reason to live, and then it cutting to her mom, that was hard to watch, actually, because, like, the idea that her mom was a reason to live and she'd lost that and is now constantly struggling to find one, that's some pretty heavy shit, to be honest.
I had trouble, I think, settling myself into an emotional state to really feel that, because when Richan,
yeah,
monkey,
yeah,
person, when they were up on the roof, nobody took it seriously. They all had just, like, flat faces on. They're like, oh yeah, this again, pretty much.
Yeah,
the whole spiel. It was a little difficult for me to care too much about it because it felt like a comedy situation.
Yeah,
I will agree that the words Toru spoke were kind of touching.
Yeah,
but I never really felt touched.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Like, this certainly, like, it was kind of hard to get into, like, an emotional situation when you've got two characters who are constantly screaming the whole time. So Yui said, God, this episode is making me nervous.
Oh, yeah, just listening to him just fucking apologize about everything and scream all the time. I'm like, is this what it's like to have constant anxiety?
Like, Jesus
Watching
Christ.
this whole episode.
Like, and it's like, I have to deal with anxiety. Never anything that bad. Fucking hell, man.
So first we gotta talk about the whole, it's a guy thing.
Yeah.
Like, in the beginning of the episode, Toru's like, oh, you're such a pretty girl. Oh, it's another girl. And I'm like, okay.
It's like
the voice was already kind of a giveaway.
Yeah, and I was like, am I the only one who hears that and thinks that in the English dub that should be Justin Brunner? Like,
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, you're right. The kind of like overly awkward, really incredibly nervous person. Yeah, I could see it. But anyway, yeah, that was pretty much a giveaway. And then I'm just after she said that, I'm like, okay, that flag's been triggered.
Yeah.
Okay, then 3, 2, 1. Boop!
They touch each other and like, yep, obviously that's gonna happen.
Like, oh, who would have thunk, huh?
But yeah, they definitely glossed over his quote unquote tragic backstory really quickly. I'm assuming it probably wasn't as tragic as he thought it was.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming his parents probably, like when it showed them apologizing, like how it really probably was the parents like, oh hey, sorry about that. Sorry my kid knocked a ball over there. But from his perspective, it's just like, oh God! Yeah. I'm causing trouble for everyone.
And I mean, to be fair, people with anxiety tend to really think like that. Like, this is an exaggerated form of it, but it's not too far from the truth. Like, thinking that you're a burden to your family and stuff like that. Yeah. Thinking you're a burden to people around you. So that in itself is relatable, but at the same time, yeah, this character's backstory wasn't nearly as fleshed out, I think. And it was kind of like it just felt more like an excuse to introduce yet another member of the Soma clan. And
it's the way I put this earlier is harmless filler. Is what this episode
harmless
felt
filler, and I agree. It was an innocuous spending of time, and it's not enough to like completely say, ugh, fruits basket. Yeah. Like, no,
take it away. Yeah, bring me another one.
Yeah, like this series. Like, this is one of the weaker episodes. It is not a bad episode. Like, I didn't think so, but just for the precedent the series has set, it was kind of a weaker one. Myself is what I personally think. Yeah, not bad, just a little underwhelming.
See you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
So next up is Maidens in your Savage Season.
I am so happy for Sonozaki. I think she's my favorite character in this series.
Sonozaki is the nerdy girl, right?
Yeah, is the one with the glass. Is the one that wore the glasses. She
the only
cleans
up real good.
Yeah, I personally think that her bangs could probably use some work. Like, I don't really like that straight cut of bangs, but myself.
See, I'm the opposite. I love that hairstyle.
Actually, now that I think about it, that's kind of what Sawako from Kimi no Todake has. So,
yeah, she experienced the same thing.
Yeah, so I guess it kind of works.
I think earlier on in the season, they intentionally made her look kind of homely.
Yeah.
Just like with the big, thick glasses and that kind of like awkward hair part.
Yeah,
she
exactly.
had going on. Probably just to accentuate like her transformation.
Mm-hmm. Which, that's a pretty old trope. Like, we've seen that all the time. Like, oh, it's like, if we see the nerdy girl with really frizzy hair and glasses, if we just, take those glasses off and put some contacts in and maybe straighten out that hair, oh my god, she's gorgeous.
I got a bold prediction right now.
Yeah.
So the Gyaru girl,
yeah,
the blonde girl. I think she is a good person.
You think so?
Yeah, because she's been like trying to communicate with Sonozaki in like a not. At least to me, it doesn't seem like a "Hey, you're hot now, let's talk." It seems like she's genuinely trying to be nice.
Yeah,
but she's with that group of friends that's like that.
Maybe, like, it seemed like, I guess that's a possibility. I mean, with this show, like, they certainly like to throw out a few different ideas and tropes and stuff like that. And so I guess we'll see. I think it's kind of hilarious, like, when they were talking about the, we need to create like a superstition, for the school festival, like, if you stand in the shadow of the person you like and tell them and say, go out with me while the fire is burning, like that whole thing, and then just like saying, oh, the bonfire was canceled, oh, fireworks are canceled because of like lewd, like some people might think it's lewd conduct. I almost guarantee that was Sonozaki.
Well, yeah, she's like, who could have done this? And she's
exactly.
like, you rang?
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what she said. Yeah, it was definitely her.
Yeah, like, I still think it was kind of funny, like, how they pulled that off. Like, I think also that, how many goddamn, like, superstitions around campfires are there? Like, because this is, like, because we saw that...
Bonfires.
Yeah, bonfires. We saw that in quintessential quintuplets as well.
I'm assuming it's a Japanese culture thing.
Yeah, like, there's also a scene like that in the Trails of Cold Steel games, actually. So it's almost kind of confirms, it's like, okay, this must be just kind of a superstition. But anyway, I like how her solution is just to get as many people to hook up as possible so that she can have a boyfriend and nobody will notice.
I feel bad for the guy here because he just wants, he wants to be proud of, being with her, and he wants to, as superficial as it is, like when you're in a relationship, okay, at least me, this is my personal perspective.
Yeah.
When I'm in a relationship, I want to I want to show it off a little bit. Like, this is the person I'm with. Hey, you should also be friends with her because I think she's cool. Like that kind of thing. Like, it's not like I feel like it's not too vain to want to do that.
Like, no, I can understand why it's not so. Why he would want that. And I can understand why you can feel bad for him. I also understand Sonozaki's perspective as well, because she's been like somebody who has been ridiculed, ignored, and all this other stuff for so long that she's just kind of doesn't really know how to go about it.
Yeah.
I think she's almost afraid that people are going to make fun of her, or still like, and I'd say that's a totally relatable.
Yeah, they definitely have both really strong cases for their feelings.
And I like that Sonozaki at least she wants to be proud. You can tell, and like you can tell that she certainly wants to be because of how much effort she wants to put into making sure as many people hook up as possible. I like her. If
you want to hide a tree,
use a forest. Exactly. Yeah. I love that line from her. She is and that's probably what cemented her as my favorite character in the show for me so far.
I think one of my favorite bits in this episode was Sugawara just like saying that she actually has a little bit of resentment towards Kazusa about
for thinking that she would
pretty.
You're
just gonna steal him away, but it's such a real realistic response to that, because she admits that she has resentment, but then immediately after that she says, okay, but I also still want to help her.
Yeah, like, I think that
I'm gonna make it worse.
Well,
in her words.
I think that, to be fair, I think that was actually a really good moment of self-reflection and self-realization for Sugawara. She realizes that it's a completely unreasonable and unfair reaction to it. It's totally based on her personal biases, and she admitted that 100%. But at the same time, but she wants to also use that to show, like, to Kazusa, I want you to get together with Izumi because you're my friend. She does respect her and does want to help her out, even if she's kind of going about it in a roundabout way.
It's the way she thinks is the best way to make it work.
Yeah, which it clearly isn't. Like, just by making it worse, you're going to just give the girl a complex, which she's already having. She just stares at Sugawara while she's taking a bath and then passes out in the tub. And then...
Your boobs are so pretty.
Yeah, I'm stupid and my boobs are stupid.
The fucking end card. I'm stupid and my boobs are stupid.
I love all these girls. They're just... I want them all just to be happy. They all deserve happiness at this point, I personally think. Hongo is still a little bit uncomfortable for me. Just because of her
probably
story.
The most uncomfortable. Well, I wouldn't even say it's the most uncomfortable topic because Sugawara had to deal with an actual pedophile, so
yeah.
Whereas the teacher is just kind of being shoved into this situation by Hongo.
Yeah, I think it sort of reminds me of the Police song "Don't Stand So Close to Me" because that's exactly what the song's about.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think I don't think at the end of the day he has any feelings for her other than wanting to.
Yet,
I hope it doesn't go into romantic feelings. I would be much happier if it was like a kind of a mentor-mentee relationship still at the end of the day, and Hongo kind of gets over her sort of infatuation with it because at the end of the day she just wants experience so she can be a better writer. She wants to understand it. And I think it's unfortunate, though, that she thinks the only way to gain experience is by essentially forcing herself on her teacher. It's really uncomfortable. So last up on our list is Vinland Saga, aka the slow burn of the season.
Slow burn in the best way possible.
That is not a discredit.
This episode definitely continues the fashion of feeling like a movie.
Yeah.
Specifically, it feels like I'm watching a Western movie.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Because it does kind of capture that sort of old West
feel. It feels like I'm watching an HBO series, like Game of Thrones or something.
Oh yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It just kind of just seeing Thorfinn, you really feel bad for Thorfinn this episode because you just see how much he's struggling, how much he's actually hurting, and just
starving and
beating himself on scraps, when everyone is gone, stuff like that. And it's so damn triumphant when he finally stabs that wolf for the first time. It's interesting to think that Askeladd is the one who gave him the advice that kind of sparked that in his mind.
Askeladd is fascinating.
I think Askeladd is essentially being a sort of mentor to Thorfinn because of his respect for Thor's.
Yeah, he's kind of respecting Thor's last wishes of keeping his son alive.
Yeah, exactly. Askeladd is a fascinating character, and it's I think it's interesting, the amount of respect that not only has for Thor's, but he kind of has a little bit of respect for Thorfinn at the end there, because when he legitimately sees how much he's been trying to improve and how much he actually did improve by almost catching him off guard.
Yeah, I think in that moment, if Askeladd wouldn't have deflected the dagger, it probably would have gone into his head and killed him. So he was put in a situation where had he not reacted in time, Thorfinn would have actually killed him and won in the duel. So he's just thinking, all right, well, I'll keep him around.
You're still a dumb kid, but if you get stronger and prove yourself on the battlefield, I'll reward you with a duel someday. And that's the way he phrases it too. Not verbatim, but that's pretty much how he phrases it. Basically trying to give him an incentive to keep moving forward, and survive and get stronger. It's fascinating. He basically, it is a sort of honorable way among it. The old saying, "There's no honor among thieves." Well, Askeladd is clearly a thief with some degree of honor
and a scumbag.
He is a scumbag.
He's a terrible human being, as evidence of the raping and pillaging.
Yeah, exactly.
I cannot stress enough that I don't respect him. I don't respect his choices. But it's like I said earlier, I think he's fascinating character.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a fascinating character.
Because there's a number of motivations I think he has for keeping Thorfinn alive. One being obviously honoring Thor's as a great warrior he is. Two, almost like cultivating a warrior
Exactly.
to give him that thrill of battle. Because as we saw when he fought Thors, he was having just a crazy good time in the actual fight itself.
And he believes 100% that it's like, well, the blood of the troll of Yom is in his veins, so it only makes sense. It only makes sense that he'll be a strong warrior too someday. And it's kind of interesting seeing like Thorfinn slowly figuring out his style here. Like when he was trying to swing around a sword and he just couldn't do it. And then eventually it's just like, okay, I'm going to use this dagger on this wolf here. And then him realizing how much better the dagger is suited for him.
Yeah, and we've seen in the OP, obviously, that he uses 2 daggers to fight, which I'm sure will look incredible once he grows up.
Yeah, because it's Studio Wit and dual blade wielding characters.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna Attack on Titan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly. I imagine 100% that's where they're going to go.
So I
here.
predicted last week this episode that this episode would be the time skip episode. Or the time progression episode. I was wrong. But I'm predicting again that the next episode will be the time progression episode.
Like, because I think we're still going... I think for a little bit we're going to see, like, Kid Thorfinn. Maybe for... I mean, obviously for this episode and maybe a little bit for next episode.
It might even just be the first 12 episodes as
Kid
Thorfinn.
And maybe like 3 more episodes here as Kid Thorfinn, and then 3 more episodes as sort of like young teen Thorfinn, and then the last half of the season as adult Thorfinn, which that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think actually now that I think about it, that I'd prefer that. Because when the opening started up, I was thinking that I was worried a little bit that the age progression was going to go too fast.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to give enough time for character development as Thorfinn was growing up. So let's say they have like a years or like a year or a month or so like skip every now and then through the next 7 episodes. So this was episode 5.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really good way to handle it.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I think that Thorfinn is I mean, he's not, his motivations aren't particularly like fleshed out or anything. He's a pretty simple character. It's just, I want to kill the man who killed my dad sort of deal. Which,
it's a revenge story.
It is, which, you know, it's still a relatable and kind of visceral story. Just seeing like how he struggles and stuff is what's fascinating about him, I think. And I think, but also just kind of seeing like how much of an impact Thor's had on the village. Like when we cut back to it and seeing Yilva.
Man. Yeah, as soon as she was working super hard every day, just throwing herself into the work, I knew like as soon as she stops working, she's gonna break down.
And that's exactly what she did do.
Yeah.
Like that was
such a real reaction.
Yeah, like,
that's what people do a lot of
like,
the time. When
they want to keep themselves busy. They want to keep their minds off of it. They do everything they can to distract themselves. But then the mom like saw right away what was going on and basically like, stop, just stop for a little bit and go to sleep, get some rest. And then she actually stopped, like takes the thing out of her hand almost effortlessly after she's I'm not even tired. But then like that, she just kind of gave it up.
All the shielding she'd built up just kind of goes away.
Yeah, that was I thought that was a really good sequence. It was sort of a good brief non sequitur into like kind of showing meanwhile this is going on. I really like this series.
Meanwhile back at the fatherless ranch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this series is kind of some people have said that this is basically Berserk but with Vikings, and that's not entirely wrong.
Isn't Berserk a lot darker though? Like dark fantasy.
Yeah,
I've never read or seen Berserk.
Okay, well,
everything I've seen from Berserk though is incredibly violent and bloody.
Well, yeah, and maybe the manga of this is bloodier. Like I don't know, but basically,
Wit Studio has never really backed off on the blood and gore.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we haven't had a lot of like ridiculous blood and gore yet. Like we've seen like some stuff like Thor's breaking a dude's arm and shit.
Well, it was really brutal when Thor's got shot by like 10 arrows.
Yeah, but he was still standing.
Yeah, but still, like when he gets shot, you can see his body like twitch and move every time.
Yeah,
so that's
true. My point is
no, like guts open.
Yeah,
or anything
like
that.
My point is that Berserk did a thing for a while where they showed a little bit of the main character Guts as a child, and then they showed him as sort of like a teenager when he first joined the Band of the Hawk with Griffith. And then they fast forward, and then they showed a few missions of him as teenage Guts, but then a little while later they showed it as adult Guts, and that's where they progressed most of the story from that point forward. It seems like they are following a similar kind of format here, which I'm totally okay with, because Berserk's one of my favorite series. I need to catch up on reading it. I haven't read manga in a long damn time. And Berserk is definitely one of the only series that I think I would bother to catch up with. But anyway, the series has been great.
So that's gonna do it for week 6 of summer 2019. Got any important closing notes you want to touch on really quick?
Yeah, remember to just if you want to see more of our stuff, just remember to subscribe. Remember to we update pretty regularly on KITSU. I try to update anytime I watch something. So go and follow us on there.
You've been watching like Kimi no Torike?
Yes, I have been.
How much have you watched of that so far?
I have watched the entire first season, which is 25 episodes, and the next season is only 12, so I'll probably be able to finish that in a few days maybe. And then my next project is finally getting around to watching Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Yeah, it's on my list too.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it dubbed, obviously, because obviously.
Yeah, Monica Rial.
Yeah, Monica Rial.
Amazing voice actors.
Anyway.
So yeah, if you have any opinions on the shows we talked about this week, any shows you think we should be watching, go ahead and let us know in the comments below. If you're listening to this on a different podcast system, you can go to our Twitter or just go to YouTube or go to Patreon and send us $100.
We don't have a Patreon. But just send us $100.
Mail us $100. I'll put someone's address in the link below. I'm not gonna do it. I feel like chances are I'd put in like some weirdo rapist's address.
Oh God, yeah.
And something terrible would happen in the situation, and then I'd go to jail, and I got bills to pay. I don't have time to go to jail. So thanks for tuning in.
There is one more thing I actually do want to say. JoJo. We still have yet to talk about the season finale of JoJo. What is that? What is that reaction for?
It's exciting. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about it. We've been getting that ready. Probably going to be putting it out in a week.
Yeah, so. We have a lot of stuff to say about it. That deserves its own episode. We've brought it up before, so look forward to that. Anyway, that's it for this week's episode of the Timesink Anime Podcast. Till next time, everybody, take care of yourselves.